Boys Club.
Is it called Boys Club because my apartment looks like a boy lives in it?
I wouldn't say a boy lives in it. I would say a boy is kidnapped somewhere in here.
Boys Club.
We're everything. We're true crime. We're World Star Hip Hop.
World Star Hip Hop. We're Netflix reviews.
Stories of the day.
Boys Club.
Listen.
Yeah, do it. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. I think. No, we're not. And on Google Play. Nobody gives a shit.
Boys Club.
Boys Club Podcast. Now with 90% more sound clips of black people.
Boys Club.
Touch me, and I'll sue.
Here at Intoxicated Reviews, we intellectually dissect the art of cinema, scene by scene. Here's some clips.
All he is, it's just a fucking big wooden doll full of cum, chasing kids around.
You look up guys who poop in a bag. Because I think that's where you'll find them. Because he is hurt.
It's probably just in your search history anyway, isn't it?
This movie fucking blows.
So don't forget to subscribe to Intoxicated Reviews on all places you find podcasts. Except Spotify. We're working on it.
Do not take product if you are hypersensitive.
And just say your name or something in the mic so I can hear you. I'm Such a hot name.
Chili Peppers.
How did you come up with your nickname?
Well, it's kind of a boring story, actually.
Pish posh.
So originally, my username was Stitch Bitch because I did embroidery. And then after that, it was Chili Bitch.
Okay.
Because I stopped doing embroidery, and I was like, well, I'm kind of a cold ass bitch. So
Stick with the
Chili
bitch.
Bitch. And I was like, well, Chili Chick just makes so much more sense.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you have a nickname. I wish I had a nickname. I always, like, whenever I see chili, I just think Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know why. It just instantly what comes to mind.
Totally.
So do you listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers? I hope that you do.
I have. They're not, like, up there for me.
You are
but they're
much
nostalgic.
younger. Yeah, that's very true. Because you are a youngin'. So guys, welcome back to the Intoxicated Podcast. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, we have a very special guest here today. It's Chili.
I'm Chili.
She has one name. Mysterious.
I suppose my last name could be Chick.
Chili Chick. I like Chili.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna call you Chili.
Sounds good.
And if I slip your real name out, I will bleep it.
Sounds good.
In fact, I kind of like it when that happens because in the video I can put like a bar over my face. Bleep. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on here.
This is quite different from what I think a lot of people on Intoxicated are used to. But as you know, this is a comedy podcast, so I usually have comedians on, and we just shoot the shit, and we're silly, and we laugh, and we joke, talk about a lot about sex and dating and relationships and stuff. But from time to time, I like to have people on to talk about a particular subject, and that's why we're here today. So we're going to get into that in just a second. But first, we are drinking Dark and Stormies, as requested by you. And they ain't bad.
They're pretty good.
Oh, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I like that. So why Dark and Stormy is what I want to know.
Just, I guess it's my favorite drink to order when I go out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels classy, but like a
does feel
little
classy.
naughty, you know?
Yeah. It has a little bit of a kick. Mm-hmm. It's a kind of a heavier drink.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't chug this.
No, yeah.
That would end up quite bad.
Oh, definitely.
And like I love cocktails, so I love that you chose like a classic cocktail because I don't think we've had Dark and Stormies on this podcast before.
Nice.
So thank you for choosing something different. The other thing we get to right away is a friendship origin story. So I'm gonna just get right to it and say that I stalked you on Instagram. You were recommended to me by Frankie, who is a lovely human and who I love so much. So Frankie and I talked a lot about body confidence, and I'm curious about sex work and that whole world. So she brought you up and I connected with you. We had Starbucks, and our Starbucks date lasted a long time.
It did.
It was like 2 hours.
It was really nice.
Yeah. I felt like that could have been the episode, truly. because a lot of the questions I have for you tonight are ones I already asked you. But I think it's, I think I'm just fascinated with it, and I think it's important for people to learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
Right from someone who does it and open their minds a bit and learn. Because I think we make a lot of assumptions, and that's kind of why I want to do this episode. So thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime.
For being here. So let's start it off by, I guess, one thing I want to say is like, can we just define what sex work is?
Totally. So sex work is very broad.
It is.
A lot of things are included within sex work. So you think about escorting, that's probably the first thing that comes to mind. Webcamming, sugaring, so like being a sugar baby.
Right.
Lots of other things. It's essentially anything that you're providing that's a sexual service in exchange for either money or sometimes goods.
Sometimes goods. And so like that could be them buying you things like
Yeah.
clothes, taking you on trips. That would be something.
That could be something.
Interesting. What about like would it also be like, you can stay at my house for free? Like, would that count? That would be kind of gray area, maybe.
I guess like that would be more so in like I would consider that more of like a sugaring relationship. So some sugar babies do have relationships that are live-in.
Right.
I don't think it's like the majority of people.
No.
But I do know that there are some people who do that.
That's interesting. Cause do you think that there's people who do, okay, so like a premium Snapchat type of thing where it's like just like nude photographs, on Snapchat. Do you think some people do that, but like maybe don't consider themselves a sex worker?
Yeah, I think like
Yeah.
a lot of people are quite open about saying that they don't think that online sex work is sex work, but I
Right.
think it's really important to include ourselves from a privileged position into that category, because to say like, oh, I am better than or on a moral high ground from someone who does street walking or someone who does escorting.
Right.
That's like, you know, not a differentiation in morals that I think you really need to make.
Yeah.
I think it's better to like be inclusive. And when you say like, I'm standing up for sex work, it's like you're standing up for everybody and including everybody under that voice.
That's actually, that's very, very, very true. Yeah. And so for yourself, what is it exactly? I guess maybe just give a brief overview of what you do. So your everything that you've done.
Okay. Well, I primarily do online sex work. Mostly clip making. I produce my own videos. I also do webcamming. I used to cam on my free cams, but that got, well,
We're going to get into that
very fast. So
I have so many questions about cam girling, but
yeah. So I mostly do like independent webcam sessions now.
Okay, independent. So when you say independent, it's you by yourself?
Yes.
Is it one-on-one with one other viewer?
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I do like Skype calls, FaceTime calls. Makes it a little more personal, a little more private.
Interesting. Yeah. And so would it sometimes be them typing to you and you doing it?
Sometimes.
And sometimes they're actually like FaceTiming, like you can see them?
Oh, totally.
Oh, crazy. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's insane. So you've kind of dabbled in, you've kind of narrowed in on what you are comfortable with and what you like doing at this point, which is the videos.
Yes.
And the camming aspect. That is fast. And what age did you get into this?
I would have started when I was 21.
21, yeah. And you are 23 now?
I am 23 now.
So 2 years.
2 years ago. I feel like it was almost 3 years ago. Maybe 2 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, around there.
We'll
say 2 to 3.
Should know this.
2 to 3 years. That's insane. So what made you, where does that decision come from? Because I can't imagine, like, see, here's my thing. I feel like a lot of people make a lot of jokes about sex work. And by that, I mean, if someone says, I'm really broke. And then a male friend will say, just be a webcam girl.
Yeah.
Or just sell your underwear.
Totally.
Or like, you know, people make jokes and I've made jokes and that's the thing. Like I've been the one who's been like, I'm so broke, better start hooking. Like, and that's insensitive.
Me too.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Okay. A part of me is like so scared to offend here, but I'm, you make me so happy. Okay. Totally perfect. Fine. So like, it's interesting. It's just fascinating to me because you can have someone who's sexually confident, who's like, you know, very in touch with their body and very comfortable with themselves. And they never want to do that. But then, so where does the decision come to say, okay, yeah, I actually am going to do that? Like, cause I don't think any of my friends would ever believe me if I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, all of them would be like, yeah, right. You're just saying that kind of thing. Cause it's so easy. It's so easy to joke.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, where did that, I guess, what was your first, like, thing that you did?
Well, initially I was like, again, thinking like, can I do this? Is this something I can push myself to do? So initially I went on Omegle.
Okay, what's this? Oh wait, this actually, is this the kind of like the chat roulette?
Yes.
It was like a similar kind of website? Ooh.
So like naughty chat roulette.
Interesting.
And essentially I was like trying to find people who would PayPal me money while I was on Omegle. I was like, well, this is pretty much a safe bet. Like I can just click out of this if I feel uncomfortable. I'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Didn't have a whole lot of luck there, but I feel like that experience told me that I was confident enough to do it.
Fascinating. Okay. Yeah. That's so interesting. So what exactly did you do on there? Were you just kind of like little flirty? Like, did you actually show anything?
Yeah.
Amazing. Yep. See, okay, because that's the thing. Like, even just doing this, which I've been doing for a while with video, with podcasts, like, holy shit. Like, if I were to dive into that, I would probably have to take a night alone with the camera just to get comfortable with the camera and like kind of psych myself up to like because I've done like sexy Snapchat videos to certain people, but that's different. That's not live, you know, like that's, you know, you're taking the video, you're making it yourself. So there's an aspect to being kind of like live with somebody where anything can happen at any moment. That's so terrifying to me.
I mean, like, it seems terrifying, but one thing about people who seek out, in particular, webcamming, is that they often have very low expectations. So it's kind of like what you give them,
they will appreciate. They will appreciate it.
The good clients will. Which entices, you know, me more in my job to do a good job. And it gives me the comfortability to be like, okay, these people are understanding. And they are a little insecure in seeking out sex work. So I can just make this easy for them.
Oh my gosh. That's fascinating. And so it went from that site to people PayPaling you. What was the next step?
Well, initially, like, the way that I kind of got into being an online sex worker was, like, I just had gotten out of a pretty terrible relationship, and had kind of explored my sexuality through Instagram a little bit. So I was, like, taking sexy selfies, posting them, and just got this, like, adrenaline rush from doing that, because like people are commenting, they're like, oh my god, this was hot.
Yeah, it would be hard not to be affected by that.
Yeah, totally. And like, as somebody who struggled with self-confidence, that was a really empowering feeling. But yeah, so I was talking to my friends, Suze. She's Red Hot Suze. She has a blog and Instagram, to go check her out. But this was like, again, when I first started, and she was saying like, you are sitting on money right now. These men that are hopping into your DMs, that are commenting on your photos, that are saying that they want to see nudes, they will pay for nudes. All you have to do is ask. So I started asking. I love it so much. And it was like 80% of the time they would say yes.
That is like absolutely fascinating to me. And this was on like primarily Instagram, or was it like also like, did you use Twitter or like?
I didn't use Twitter initially, but I did use Tinder.
Right.
So like I would post my sexiest photos on Tinder and kind of direct people from Tinder to Instagram in my bio. So they would see my Tinder and be like, might not match with her, better go follow her on Instagram. So they do that, and then they hop in the DMs, and then maybe 2-3 DMs later, I was like, these ones are ripe. So,
And how do you know when someone messages you? Cause you must get a fuck ton of, like, I was even thinking that today when I was like messaging you in there. I'm like, I should get her number or something, cause I imagine your Instagram is flooded. Like, it's probably a lot of messages to manage.
it is, but I feel like I've almost become accustomed to it in the same way that, like, if you're a successful business person, not like I'm saying that I'm super successful, but like, if you've got a lot of emails on the go, you have to stay on top of the emails. So, like,
That's actually
DMs
true,
are my
yeah.
emails,
They're really your
basically.
emails.
Yeah.
Fascinating. And was there ever, like, were there little signs that you would pick up in convo that this person might be someone who would, like, pay? Because, like, there's people who might just, like, maybe know you through life and, like, just be flirty with you, but, like, is there a way for you to tell when someone's more likely to be someone who would pay for something? Like, is it kind of when they mention specific things that you're like,
Honestly, even the ones I knew in real life.
really? Okay, I am like utterly fascinated by this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were a lot of guys who I went to high school with who would hop in and be like, "Oh, you didn't look like this in high school," which is gross. But sometimes it's like, okay, well, you don't really mean a whole lot to me. I can capitalize on this rather than feel creepy about it.
Love that. So obviously you played into that probably.
Totally.
Like, yeah, I didn't look this way. Like, where some people might take that like as an offense and like get insecure about it. Like, you're turning it around to benefit you.
Well, I guess, like, I give them the opportunity to engage with me respectfully in an intimate way on my terms. So it's like, I'm giving you the opportunity to pay for my services, and we can have this exchange that you want. But if you cross that boundary or say, oh, no, I would never do that, or, you know, like, you are a whore or whatever, it's like, you're blocked.
This
That's how it
was
goes.
one of my big questions that I had for you was about boundaries.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's an element to the online sex work that's must be very freeing and like you're in control. But how do you communicate boundaries to people? And how do you know when to take it from a maybe tell them to stop or block? Like, cause there must be varying degrees of it where like they might say something and you might say, no,
Yeah.
but maybe not necessarily block them. Do you know what I mean? Like, so how do you determine that?
I think, like, well, sometimes if people have paid in the past, then I'll be a little more lenient because I'm like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here.
Right.
But if you don't pay me within the next 2 times you've interacted with me on Instagram, even if you're just replying to my stories, we've become too familiar and you're probably not going to pay me again. So I give them the option. I'm like, okay, like, here's a reminder. This is what I do. This is beyond the context of how I'm working with you. We're not friends.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And if they are not interested in that, then I just let them go if they're being assholes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time that, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but was there ever a time that you maybe pushed your boundaries and,
Oh, yeah.
and like regretted it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think especially when I was first starting, because, like, there's no guidebook.
No.
And this is, like, as much as I would like to say, like, it's a profession, it's not a professional field. Like, there's no school or, like, certificate you go to be a sex worker. So you're kind of, like, teaching yourself as you go. And when you're first starting off, it's very easy to get sucked into offers that are a little too big.
Enticing in that way.
But, like, don't come through. So if someone's like, I'll pay you $3,000 to be my sugar baby for nothing, I just want you to send me a pic to show me that you're trustworthy. That's a thing that people say a lot.
That's okay. So I dabbled in Seeking Arrangements, the website. I was like talking to someone on there for a bit. Because a friend of mine had told me about it and it did seem enticing. That's kind of the attitude I had. I was like, this seems too good to be true. Like, honestly, like, I had a hard time believing that most of these guys wanted to just take me out to dinner. I was just like, I just feel like there's more to it than that. And these guys aren't really saying it. And I was talking to one guy who, like, was super, like, wouldn't tell me what exactly he wanted. And I was like, well, you're going to have to at some point. I'm not going to just meet up with you not knowing what you expect. And he refused to, like, he kept asking me for pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm out. And he didn't have pictures, was the thing.
Oh.
Cause he kept saying, oh, like, I'm someone, like, my job, I can. I'm like, well, I'm going to see you in person when we meet up. So what?
Either, like, generally in those situations, either they're married or, like,
somewhat famous or, like,
very
in the
unattractive.
or that.
I don't know. I mean,
they're like, she's gonna bow out as soon as she sees my
yeah,
picture.
no, that is, like, an attitude that some people have. And honestly, like, sex workers don't care about that shit.
No.
I don't care what you look like.
That's very true. And maybe that's something that people, men or women, need to know, is that, like, it actually doesn't matter what you look like, because if you're paying, you're paying.
Totally. Well, like, a lot of sex workers too will have disclosures in their bios that say, like, I'm open to people who are disabled.
But with the online aspect, there must be an element of safety that you feel where you do have that barrier of, like, you're not physically there with them, even though you might be interacting, like, with the camera and stuff like that, which is interesting. So does that make you more open to, like, people you might not be attracted to or stuff like that? Like, does that make it easier?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would.
No, it definitely does. I think it is, like, that safety barrier, that is, like, part of the privilege dynamic to an online sex work.
Yeah.
Just where you don't have to have direct contact with people, they're less likely to be violent towards you.
Yeah.
So
It's a little safer in that
huge
way.
advantage if you can do it, and not everybody can or does, but
Right.
yeah.
Cause that goes back to my first question of, like, you know, the girl who says she's broke and should do something and makes the joke, and then the girl who actually does it. So what do you think it takes as a person, or maybe personality traits or, you know, attributes to be a sex worker? Like, cause obviously it takes a lot of confidence and a lot of strength. And I think anyway, it would. Yeah. Because you're doing something that is really putting yourself out there, like, in a big way. So would you say that confidence is a key thing to have when you go into it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, like, the biggest thing you have to have is self-assurance and the ability to stand up for yourself. Because, like,
yes,
in these situations, people will push you.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a backbone, then, like, it's really hard to navigate those situations. And hard to protect yourself. And you need to be able to do that if you're getting into sex work. Like, there are so many young women who message me and they're like, oh, I'm thinking about getting into camming. I'm, like, kind of shy about messaging you. It's like, if you're shy about messaging a sex worker, do not get into sex work.
Oh, yeah.
That's, like, a big red flag. Like, you have to be confident in your interactions with people.
You gotta be
like,
ballsy.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing right now, coming on a podcast with someone you just met twice, talking about it. Cause you're ballsy.
I'm ballsy.
You're
This
ballsy.
is true.
Ding, ding. That's actually, that's a really good piece of advice. Cause, like, that would instantly key me out. Like, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't. So that's fascinating. Yeah. And I would also say, like, it's empowering. Cause you said it's like very empowering. But maybe don't rely on it to get your confidence. Like, have the confidence and have it be a way to make your confidence even better.
Totally.
But don't rely on it for, like, your self-worth.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
you need to have stuff outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Like, I'm pretty involved in, like, BDSM practices in my own personal life. I love sex. I love exploring kinks. Me and my partner explore a lot of BDSM practices, which is really fulfilling and lovely.
Yeah.
So, like, I love how I can have my own private sexual life at home and still, like, have the sex work too, you know? So it's like that balance.
Interesting. Yeah. And so you are in a relationship.
Yes.
And so what's it like? Well, there's two things to this. What's it like telling your family about what you do and someone who you're dating?
Well, with my partner, I laid that out on the table our first date.
Nice. Good. Get it out of the way.
And he kind of knew anyways,
Did he?
because like
Yeah.
he followed me on Instagram. So he knew the gist of it. And this is something that like he's said before too. It's like, I knew what I was getting into. I knew this was what you did. So like, if you ever feel like I'm holding you back, then like, let's talk about it. Let's like,
Yeah.
you know, not let that happen.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
he's awesome.
That is fantastic. I think you hit the jackpot there.
Oh yeah.
But have you had times where you've told guys you've dated, like, and that they weren't cool with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Was it a jealousy thing? Or was it them not being down with the profession?
I think a lot of it was like an insecurity thing more than anything. Because I think it takes a very secure and confident person to be okay with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be tough. I won't lie. So finding that kind of openness is very important. And what about family? Because you mentioned that your family all knows. So number one, that must feel good to just have it out there.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the moments leading up to when I told them were quite stressful because I was living at home.
You're like, guess what I've been doing in my room, mom and dad?
Well, I mean, that's basically what it came down to.
Yeah.
I think there was one night I came up and I was like, they were like, what were you doing all day? You were in your room all day. What were you doing? I was like, I made $700 today. Don't even talk to me right now.
I could start paying rent, motherfucker.
I mean, I think that's where they were going next. That's why I moved out. But
Oh my gosh. That is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
$700 in an afternoon. Yes, please.
it's possible. It just depends on what you put into it, really.
What you put into it. I do see it very much so. And this might be a weird comparison, but to content creation.
Yeah,
Because,
absolutely.
for example, someone who starts like a YouTube channel and like maybe does one video like every 3 weeks
Yeah.
versus someone who kind of makes it a part of their daily life to do it every day. It's like anything. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it.
Totally.
And especially with online where it's, you're making relationships with these people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like with YouTubers and Patreon, it's like you're still selling intimacy. You're selling like one step closer to yourself. So I mean,
That's okay. The way that you said that, selling intimacy, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's so true.
well, it's like you're selling, like essentially a friendship to them that's almost like one-sided. I would say that like sex work is almost more intimate than like that, but yeah.
Well, for example, I mean, like, you might have people in relationships seeking you out for a side of themselves that they don't get in their relationship. So it might not be like better intimacy, but it's a different kind.
Yeah.
It's something that they're seeking because they're not getting it from their relationship. So you're truly like helping them in a weird way, even though it might be sketchy because they're, you know what I mean? Like there's multiple facets to that.
Yeah.
But regardless, like you are tapping into something in them that they're not getting otherwise.
Yeah.
So-
So I mean, like my view on it is if they're not getting it from me, they're gonna get it from someone
Someone else.
else. And like
Very
maybe
true.
that relationship isn't working out for them, and that's why they're seeking sex work.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into the morality on their part in their own relationship, but
Yeah.
like to me, they are just another client.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like people feel a certain freedom with sex workers to express kinks that they've been shamed for in the past.
Yeah.
So whether that be like, say you're really into prostate stimulation or cuckolding or whatever it is.
BDSM.
And BDSM, like you are really interested in this thing and your partner is like, ew, that's gross. Then that thing doesn't go away. That interest is still there. So like, you know, you delve into the depths of Pornhub and you're like, what can I find here? This is still not satisfying for me. And then you go out and find a sex worker.
It's like the next level. It's like multiple levels up from porn.
Yeah.
Like you taking it to the next level. And do you think too, in some ways, that when you do that with people, it gives them the confidence to then maybe seek out, relationships that, like, in other words, like if I was with a guy who like didn't appreciate my kink and like I went to a sex worker for it, maybe I then realize how important it is to me and to get out of that relationship
Yeah.
and find someone else who can give me everything.
It does happen. In particular with men who get shamed for like wanting prostate stimulation, and generally the conclusion from their partner is like, "Oh, I'm scared because then you're gay."
Yeah,
when
just
like
so
prostate
silly.
stimulation and sexuality really, like those don't.
Yeah, it's the best
Intertwined
orgasm of
part.
their lives.
Yeah, totally.
Regardless.
And like even biphobia in relationships too. Like
yeah.
myself as a bi woman, like I've experienced to some extent biphobia. I think men experience it a little bit more when they're bi.
Right. Yeah, I would say so for sure.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Totally. Because I think like with women, it's like being bi is almost fetishized.
Yeah. They're considered unicorns. Isn't that like the term that guys use for it? Like unicorns? Which is, did you always know you were bi? Just out of curiosity.
I probably should have.
There were signs?
Yeah, there were signs. There were lots of signs. I think like looking back on even some of my female friendships in my, younger years too, I'm like, I definitely had a crush on them. I was just like hella pushing that, under the covers.
Oh, wow. And did you have like a coming out experience? Like where you were like, yep, I'm bi. Everybody, I'm bi. Or was it just kind of something I feel like the coming out with bi doesn't always happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it was like, I thought I was bi and kind of like knew I was bi before my first experience with a woman.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But then, I know this really lovely couple, and when I was first like, oh, I think I'm bi, they were just visiting, which is great, because like with a threesome, it's like, then they're not around.
Perfect!
Which is, it's a good dynamic. It's like, I love them. They're lovely people. But again, it's like sometimes nice to just have people who are, only there.
I feel like it's like the only time I would have a threesome is if I knew that they were leaving.
Totally, yeah. It's just like, it makes things a little easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are such lovely people. And she was my first lesbian experience. So that was phenomenal.
I actually feel like that would be a great way to have a first time experience with another woman.
my
Is with a
God.
guy there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It would be kind of like easy. You're like dipping your toe in. Like not literally, but
And like he pieced out too.
oh really?
Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
like
even
not
better.
like intentionally. I think like he had a long day and we had also been drinking a little bit. So he literally like passed out on the couch. And then we bought a bottle of almond oil, coated ourselves in almond oil in their Airbnb, and just like had rampant gay sex. So
Yeah, I would watch that. I would watch that.
the video is available.
I would.
Not even kidding.
Don't tempt me. Most of the porn I watch is lesbian porn, which is weird because I don't consider myself bi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do think it's a spectrum, and I think, like, there's something there. It's just not, I wouldn't say bi, but, like, yeah, that's, like, most of the porn I watch, so, yeah. Yeah. I'll send you my credit card. No, I'm just joking. It's maxed. You're not gonna get anything off of it. That's amazing. That's literally, like, I feel like the best case scenario.
Oh my God, yeah. I
Like-
mean, I don't know how that happened, but
Shit. Holy shit.
yeah.
So what, I do have like formal questions. This is very different for me. Normally I just go off the cuff, but I have so many, like, I just want to make sure like I got all the questions in. What do you think are like some misconceptions? Misconceptions? Did I say that right? Yeah. Misconceptions about, sex work. Because I think people have this image, and we talked about this at coffee. People have an image in their head of what a sex worker is.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily see all these other layers and all these other kinds.
I wrote a response to this.
yeah, I
I'm
love
just gonna
this.
Quickly look over it.
She wrote like paragraphs of answers.
I really did.
This is amazing.
Misconceptions. Okay, yes. So this is actually where I got a little funny.
Oh, yay. Perfect.
But I would say the most common misconception about sex work is the conflation between sex work and sex trafficking.
Yes.
So sex work and sex trafficking are two completely different things. Sex workers are actually the most vulnerable to be sex trafficked. So they're the most likely to want to prevent it. And we need prevention against sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is awful.
Yeah.
But sex work is a consensual act between two adults. And it's, it's my livelihood.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'm here to say that I am not coerced. And yeah.
Damn, that is so true, though.
Yes.
Because I think we think, oh, so-and-so is going off on her own to some city. She's going to get sex trafficked.
Yeah. And it does happen. I mean, sex trafficking is like a huge issue.
Right.
But laws like FOSTA and SESTA, which were aimed to prevent child sex trafficking, actually made it worse.
Right. And can we sort of give a brief overview of what that is?
Yeah. So FOSTA and SESTA were laws put in place in the States, or I guess bills put in place in the States. And essentially they aimed to eradicate spaces online that were used to communicate, for sex work.
Right. So was this like for sex workers to get clients?
Yeah. So like think about like Backpage or that kind of thing.
Right. A lot of their work would come from these sites.
Yeah.
And so now these sites are gone completely?
Like I think Backpage is gone. I'm pretty sure the personal ads are gone.
Right.
A lot of sites did have to shut down. On top of that, social media had to comply with these laws as well.
Right.
So that's like why, I would guess like the whole no nips on Instagram, no nips on Twitter, like why that's so enforced.
Which is so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. More nipples on Instagram. We just start a hashtag or something. Well, probably already exists. Yeah, no, that's insane. And so what are some other, so the sex trafficking thing, are there any other misconceptions?
Yes. Yeah. I think one that I saw on Twitter the other day by some conservative shithead was, it was something along the lines of like, well, sex work isn't consensual. Sex work is just rape because you wouldn't do it if you weren't getting paid. I wouldn't work at fucking McDonald's if I wasn't getting paid. But like, here's the thing. Like, I
love that.
I did used to work at McDonald's.
None of us would work.
Yeah, totally. For like less than $10 an hour.
Yeah.
And on my training week, there was another girl who was starting there as well. She was also training and she was working the drive-thru. And this guy came in, he had just gone through the drive-thru and she had apparently gotten his order wrong. He unwrapped a whole fucking cheeseburger and threw it at her.
Oh my God.
And in that 30 seconds, I mean, she must have only been paid like 5 cents.
Ugh.
You know?
Which
and
is so sad.
Totally. And like the difference between sex work and that is that if somebody wants to pay me $500 to throw a fucking cheeseburger at me, then that's okay, because I consented to it, you know?
And it's $500.
Exactly. It's like on my terms.
Yeah.
So,
you're so right.
hit me up if you want to pay me $500 to throw a cheeseburger at my face.
I feel like that would be like such an easy, like that would just be easy. I would do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you, just like off the cuff here, have you gotten any requests that you go, like, I mean, we're both we're not kink shaming at all.
No, totally.
But, I mean, like, we all, like, there's boundaries, right? There's things that you're like, no, that's too far.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know that there have been definitely some, like, out there requests. But actually, the most, like, wild request I can think of was actually from a friend of mine. I was just in Miami with her at XBiz, and one request that she got, which she talks openly about, was a client who asked her to do a Winnie the Pooh themed video where he was like, I want you to eat like a jar full of honey.
Oh my God.
And then get, like that scene where Pooh gets stuck in the hole? I want you to get stuck in the hole. And she was like, oh, hell yeah. Honestly, I love that shit. I think make it the most interesting you can. Really.
And like, this is the thing. Like, I respect this so much because I'm not a good actor. I don't, like, in terms of, I just wear exactly how I'm feeling on my face. And, I imagine it takes some kind of acting to get into things that you're not personally into, but you're doing it because you know that they want it and they're paying you for it. And that's a skill in and of itself to be able to do that. So holy smokes, Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
That's insane. That'd be very sticky.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't think she actually ate the whole jar of honey. You told her, he was like, you don't have to eat it all on camera. It'll take a while.
Oh my God. And like, what about like the whole pricing situation? Because that's kind of always something I think about too, where obviously you're talking to these different people and you're getting messages, you're getting like requests or them saying, I want this or I'm into this. Can you do this for me? How do you then figure out how much you charge?
I kind of have like a basic rate system that I use now.
Yeah.
Initially, again, didn't really know what I was doing, but it's pretty similar to what I charge now, honestly. The first rate that I went with that I just made up out of the blue was like 4 photos for $25 or like 2 under a minute video clips for $25. And that was like my base rate that I was like, okay, here's my rates. Here's what I offer. And it just went up from there as I had more content to sell.
Amazing. Yeah. And then in terms of, cause I guess with you, it's mostly video and pictures and stuff like that. So you can control that a lot better.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Damn. What are the challenges that you find with doing this? I imagine that there's a lot of challenges.
Yeah. I think Juno Mac has an excellent TED Talk on some of the challenges in the industry based on legislature for different countries and what's actually needed in the industry. And overall, I think the majority of people would say just decriminalization.
Yeah.
Right now in Canada, we have the Nordic model, which essentially victimizes sex work. Or sex workers.
Right.
So it's legal to sell sex work. It's legal to be a sex worker, but it's not legal to buy sex work.
Right.
So it's like criminalizing the act of buying it. Man is bad, woman is good. And it's very much man, woman wording.
Yeah.
In like Bill C-36, I think.
Cause we were talking about this at Starbucks. The idea that if I, as a woman, went and hired a sex worker and got caught, I probably wouldn't
even get caught.
Reprimanded.
Yeah.
Which that's messed up.
Yeah. Well,
that is messed up.
There is obviously like a gendered power dynamic there. But at the same time, it's like there's no talk about non-binary sex workers. There's no talk about trans sex workers.
Right.
It's just like this focus on women, vulnerable, men. Bad.
Right.
Trying to erase sex work altogether by like taking away the demand for it. But the demand is never going to go away. This is like one of the oldest industries in the books. And I guess like one analogy would be like, okay, so it's legal to own a gym. You can own a gym. You can own all the equipment in the gym. It is illegal to go to that gym. So
that's a great way to say it.
People are still going to go to the fucking gym because it feels good. It's like a nice thing to do with your body.
Yes.
And they're going to go at weird hours of the night. And then they're going to use a fake name. And then the people who work at the gym, like the personal trainer, is going to be like, this is fucking sketchy shit. Because I've got all of these anonymous people coming to my gym who might be a little hyped up on steroids.
Because they're more scared of getting caught.
Totally.
So they're going to be a little sketchier.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So then, like, if something happens, do you call the police?
Yeah.
Do you call the police if the police are like, well, it's pretty stigmatized to own a gym. Right. It's pretty, not cool. And you're selling technically illegal services. But, what are you going to do?
But that jackass
Will
went to the
police
gym.
protect you in the same way?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, and like the whole, like the vetting process. So the sussing someone out. Cause you mentioned that you've done some in person.
Yeah.
How do you vet people? What's that process?
I would say like you're like to the best of your ability, is going to do essentially a background check. So you want their actual name. And if someone's hesitant to give you their actual name, then don't work with them. A lot of people are not in that privilege system where they can make that option, because if you have to make like $600 to pay your rent today, then you might take a job that's unsafe, and that's really shitty. But that's the way it is. But if you are in a place where you can vet people, then yeah, you're just going to want to see if they have a LinkedIn, see if they have a Facebook, see how much information is readily available about them. Are there any articles about them? Did they commit any crimes?
Right.
You know, like all of this stuff. Always ask for references.
Right.
If you, again, are in the privileged place of being able to do that and have the time to do that, like ask for references, because that's a really good way to ensure that someone's safe. So like if they worked with another sex worker before, that sex worker will have some kind of social media. Don't get them to just text you from some random number, but like they'll have some kind of social media that they can message you from. If they've never worked with a sex worker before, generally I would say just get in contact with like some female who knows them. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to mention sex work at all. It would just be like, hey, do you know this guy? Is he safe? I'm thinking about going on a date with him. Something like that.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, so...
Oh, that's actually...
That's like a good way to...
That's something I've never even thought about, yeah.
But
the
again,
idea of references.
if all of this stuff was decriminalized, then we would have less issues with safety.
Man, ding ding, I agree on that. Because, like, it would be weird to, like, do business with someone who's just a username.
Yeah, totally.
You need to kind of put a real legit human to that username.
Yeah. And even for the most part with online sex work, like I would much prefer to be like, you're open with your life and you're messaging me, rather than, you know, someone who has a blank page. I generally just don't even accept requests from blank pages.
Right. Do you find that if say someone's not really giving anything up to you, like they're just kind of being really cagey, do you find that once you say, okay, well, we're done here, like, that they then, oh, no, don't go. Here's all my information. Like, no, yeah.
No,
interesting.
They generally just come back with well, this is why you should allow me to do this. Or like, this is, you know, they're going to be stubborn. And that's why you need to be confident and strong within yourself to be like, no, I don't care how much you're offering me. Like, if this isn't safe, then it's not on the table.
Yeah, stand your ground. Holy smokes, that's insane.
Yeah.
Insane just in the sense that, like, it does take a lot of strength and confidence, like, to do that. Jeez Louise.
But again, like, not the majority. Most of my clients are absolutely lovely, super respectful people. Most of the time, people are seeking out sex work just because, like, again, they feel vulnerable. They don't know how to talk about what they want sexually in their real life. So, yeah.
Right. And have you always been just a very open, like sexually open person? Like, just in terms of, like, what you accept? Yeah.
I laughed so hard when I was, like, thinking about when you sent me those questions. Because I was, like, thinking back, I was like, what was my earliest sexual experience?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like...
Because you and I are both fans of Guys We Fucked.
Yes.
The podcast, where a standard question that they ask is, like, the first time you discovered it, or, like, masturbated, like, what? Because for me, it was super young. Like, I don't actually remember how old I was. That's how young I was.
Wow.
Like, when I was, like, figured out masturbation, being like, oh, it feels really good. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Totally. Well, then you think about, like, Big Mouth and I forget her name, but the character who, like, is humping the glowworm.
Yes!
Yeah! Like, that's normal. Kids are supposed to fucking touch themselves. It shouldn't be, like, something that you're like, oh, don't do that. It's like, then you're shaming them and giving them these weird complexes, and then they come to sex workers. Thanks, Mom.
Dang. Thanks, Mom. That's so it's so much rubbing up against furniture. I feel like that's the number one, like, way that women figure it out.
But I mean, even, like, I remember playing with Barbie dolls when I was probably, like, 7 or 8. I have no idea what BDSM was. Yeah. These Barbies were participating in BDSM.
You're tying them up? Were you tying Ken up, or were you tying Barbie up?
I think it was, like, a lot of dick and ball torture on Ken's behalf, considering that he only had, like, a fleshy mound. So.
the BDSM stuff is so fascinating to me because, and we talked briefly about this, but I do have a bit of a sub in me, a little bit, but I'm very like, never been tied up, dabbled in the standard stuff, like being pinned down, like being slapped, like all that. Is there a way, like, for someone like me who's like, I know it's in there, I just need to like, dabble? Do you have any tips for that? Because that's something like, that's a whole world that I'm so fascinated by. Yeah. But like, it's also tough to do when you don't have a partner. You're just kind of like on your own and you're like, can't tie myself up. So I don't know what to do.
Well, I mean, if rope is your thing, tied up T. She's based in Halifax. Okay. And she's fantastic. She offers rope classes. I think there's one on like the 6th of August.
Oh my gosh, fun. Yeah, so does that teach you how to tie people up or how to be tied up?
I mean, like how to tie people up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But also to tie yourself up. There's a lot of self rope work that you can do.
Interesting.
It's really cool. Yeah.
When did you discover BDSM as something that like you were like, oh, I'm into this? I feel like with a lot of it's like always it was a spank for me. I was like, oh, I didn't mind that.
Totally. I think like early on, and this is something I've been thinking about a lot more recently, how like after like right out of high school, I was like, I need to date older men.
Yeah.
Immediately, because high school boys suck.
But you just figured it out young. Like that's just like total truth.
Well, I mean, like thinking about it though, like any older man who's going to date a 17, 18, 19-year-old is a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, that's fucked.
I hate to break it to you.
That's fucked. When you're
I just realized this.
When you're older though, it's not so bad. Like the older you get, the more
once you're
old you can go.
Confident in yourself, have like a certain amount of self-awareness, then it's like, okay, there's only so much playing field here.
Yeah.
And it becomes less of a power dynamic, less manipulation.
Because your brains aren't fully formed when you're 17, 18.
No. Oh my God, no.
And so having someone like take power over you like that, your brain doesn't know how to handle that power.
No, it just knows this feels fucking great.
Yeah, this feels great. And
my heart hurts.
And then when you're older and you're still a sub, you realize that you have all the power in the situation. And you're like, fuck yes. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Which is just so fascinating to me. When I started out kind of dabbling in sub stuff, I was like, no. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I do. I'm the one letting him do these things.
Yeah.
So really that means that I have the power, which
absolutely
is just messed up.
And any good dom would recognize that. There are a lot of people who call themselves doms who are not. I don't even call myself a dom, and I do a lot of dom work. I would call myself like a baby dom or a Bambi dom.
A Bambi dom.
A Bambi dom. Because I'm just like stumbling around on my legs trying to figure out what feels good. I'm going to do a lot of check-ins because like if I slap you too hard, I want to fucking know about it.
I love that. Actually, that's actually, I'm going way off the questions that I sent you, but that's actually, you bring up a good point about good and bad doms. Because there are a lot of bad doms and I've been with a bad dom and I know what it looks like. What are the characteristics of a good dom?
Check-ins.
Yes. So that's
knowing your
boundaries.
Are
you okay? Are you or do you like that? Like,
yeah. Is this okay? Are you comfortable? And like you can do that in ways that are not clumsy or don't feel interrupting while still being in character too in your roles. I think also like getting your submissive to send you a list of things they want to try so that you don't have to ask like, hey, do you want me to like, like use this on your dick? Like, do you want me to tie you up? Whatever. Like,
it's in writing so you have it ahead of time.
Yeah. So it's like, that they're interested in it and let them know, like, please voice to me if you are ever uncomfortable and we will stop it immediately. Having a safe word is a great thing.
Do you recommend, like, I always laughed at that scene in 50 Shades of Grey where they do the contract thing.
Yeah. No.
I always laughed at that. But at the same time, like, it's pretty legit though. Like, just the idea around maybe having an in-person conversation before you're in sexy mode.
Yes.
To be like, hey, okay. this is what I really want to try. This is what I'm used to. Here's what here's what I don't want. Like, that's very important.
Yeah.
And here are the safe words. And just almost like agreeing to that when you're not in the moment.
Yeah.
And when you're just like, you know, like you and I right now, like we could just talk about it. And I think that's so important. And that's something that a lot of people don't do.
Totally. And like with porn actors too, like they'll do that. So in particular with BDSM porn, so if somebody is like a known dom in the industry, if they're a good dom, they will have a checklist for you that says, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to not do? Are you okay with these things? And have very specific things that they're going to stick to.
Right.
They're not going to go off of the list. So if you're like, yep, cool with this, cool with this, cool with this, they're like, okay, now I know I can do all of these things. Again, we can cut and, you know, break the scene if something's uncomfortable. Unfortunately, not everybody does that. And that's how you know that they're not super qualified.
And that's how you know, maybe too, when you're doing something you're not ready for as a sub. Like when you don't say stop, because there's an element to that where it's like, you're scared to say stop because you don't want to be a bad sub.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. And so you gotta find that voice to be like, no. Like, consent is ongoing. It doesn't end with that first meeting. No. Like, it's gonna be ongoing throughout the whole experience. Yeah. And that's something that's so important. But you make a good point about the not, because I do find that there's an element to consent where people think it's like ruining the mood. You know what I mean? And like, that's kind of an art to perfect.
Totally.
Not ruining the mood.
Like, in particular, people who have experienced sexual trauma too, like, it's very easy to just turn off.
Right.
And like, as someone who has experienced sexual trauma, it's like, sometimes I find myself turning off. If I'm like, I don't like this. This is scary to me. I'm out of here. Yeah. Checked out mentally. And like, this is something more recently that I've really called myself on. And you have to actively bring yourself back from this headspace, be like, am I enjoying this? If I'm not enjoying it, I'm calling time out. Yeah. And if you have a good partner who's like good with communication and gonna listen to you, then like, that's never an issue.
Right. You know? Oh my gosh. That is so true. Yeah. That's sucky. That's sucky to deal. And the thing is too, and like, I've been there too. And, I'm trying to seek counseling for it. Because I do have moments where during sex I'm like, I don't like this, but I'm doing it for him. Yeah. And it's a tough thing. I'm 32 and I'm still struggling with finding that. So I would say also like, seek some help if you can. Like there are sex therapists out there that deal with this stuff. They hard to get and I'm on a wait list right now, but they do exist out there. So seek out the help. I mean, like, I just feel like what's sad is it's hard for me to think of a woman who hasn't had sexual trauma. Yeah. Absolutely. Which is really fucked up. Yeah. So it's pretty sad. But how did you, I guess, deal with or cope with the trauma? Because I know that's not necessarily something you get over, but it's something you learn to deal with better. Yeah.
Well, I think like for myself, I almost like allotted a certain time to be like, I have dealt with this. And then I was like, I've dealt with it. It's not there anymore. Interesting. But it's always there.
Yeah, it is.
It
That's
doesn't
the thing.
go away. 5 years later, hey bitch.
Yeah,
I'm your trauma.
Do you still, okay, this is a dark question. Do you know the day that it happened? Or like the time frame?
It was Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Halloween party in my first year of university. And fuck him. Honestly, he was in his 5th year.
Oh shit.
Doing a little victory lap.
Oh god.
Yeah, piece of shit. Now he's becoming a lawyer. How many times have I thought about filing a police report?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I hate myself for it? Kinda.
Yeah.
But it's just like, we don't live in a society where doing that is going to yield results.
That is,
you know?
Thank you so much for saying that, because when the whole Me Too movement happened, a lot of criticism was like, you're going to be ruining all these men's careers. And
Nothing
not one man's career has been totally ruined because of this yet.
Yeah, no, there's a documentary I watched not that long ago. I'm totally blanking on the name of it, but it was this woman. She went to a university in Ontario, and she experienced what was very straightforward sexual assault. Went through, like, filed a police report, got a rape kit done, and even then, even like with everything that was there, it was like he still didn't get convicted. She still lost that, trial.
So fucked up.
Everything can be there. You can put yourself through so much trauma and it still doesn't do anything.
So really, it's unfortunately, until we get further, it's about making sure you are okay.
Totally.
And you're in the right headspace going forward.
Yeah.
And fuck those. Like, the day that I blocked this guy and like from everything was such an empowering day for me. Cause I was just like, out of sight, out of mind. I don't even care anymore about you. Like,
yeah,
could not care less. Like, and it's almost like to a point where it's like, yeah, it's tempting to think about like, tell their girlfriend and tell I knew like friends of his that knew how he acted.
Yeah.
And that's like a whole other side of it is the bystanders, like the people who know.
Yep.
And like, Jesus Christ, like if you see something sketchy, even if it's your friend, say something.
Yes. Oh my God.
Say something. Especially if it's a friend.
Like, even if I'm at a bar, I'm like, I can barely go to bars anymore because I can't fucking enjoy myself. I'm just scanning the crowd looking for like people who are being predators, which if you're anywhere downtown is a lot.
Yeah. I feel like if I went out with you, I would feel very safe.
Good.
Cause you would there would be no messing with you.
No. Literally, like there was one time, this was while I was still at that same university. I think it was like 2 years after that incident. And there was another party and this girl was like unconscious being carried out of this house by this guy. And I like went up and I was like, do you know this woman? Like, prove to me that you know her before I let you walk out of this house with her unconscious stripped over your shoulder. But nobody else, it's like, you have to be the person to step in.
Yeah. Yeah, you really, really do. Because it's when you start doing that hopefully changes will start being made. And like men to other men.
Yeah.
Call other men out. Call them the fuck out. Everyone call everybody out. That's what I think.
Is it okay if I like...
Go get another drink! Go do it up. Get water, get drinks. I love when two women bond over sexual trauma.
It happens all the time.
It's so sad that that's what bonds us as a gender. I know, right? I so appreciate you coming on talking about this stuff because this is not something everybody can talk about so openly on a podcast where you see your face on the internet.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of blessed in that way, I guess.
Yeah. Of being just so open about it. And you have family that's cool with it too. And I feel like that, I feel like if the people in your life that are important to you don't care, then the world's your fucking oyster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's not even that they don't care.
Yeah, it might have been the wrong word choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are some parents who are totally okay with their children doing sex work, but I think with mine in particular, they want the best for me, but they also trust my decision making.
Ooh, that's huge.
So, I mean, for the most part, they're like, okay, well, she's making success for herself.
Yeah, you're better in your life.
Strong-headed lady. Mm-hmm. She's into some alternative shit. I've got a demon tattoo on my arm. Thank you, Helena, darling.
Oh, I love her. I want to get a podcast tattoo soon. I want to go there.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I want to actually film and maybe do an episode while getting a tattoo sometime. That's kind of my next podcast goal. Okay, so two other questions that I have revolves around your clients and who you talk to. So you do the video thing where people can purchase your videos. Do you have personal relationships with those people, or do they literally just purchase the content?
Most of the time they just purchase the content because I sell mostly through onlyfans.com/chilichick_.
I'll put it right here. I really hope you get people from this box. That would be amazing.
It's a welcoming space.
Please do. Please go check her out. Yeah, that's interesting.
So like sometimes people will message me on OnlyFans. They'll be like, "That was amazing. I loved this." And like I love getting compliments or feedback. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
It helps me do my job better.
Yeah.
Sometimes after buying a video, people will request customs, which is cool too.
Okay.
I love doing dick humiliation. That's one of my favorites.
So, and this is something guys want?
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on the kink. It depends on the kink, but there are a lot of people who are really into dick humiliation and cuckolding, and I think that's sick.
That's amazing. I've heard about, like, girls who do what are called, like, insult videos, I guess? Or, like, you fucking piece of shit, you worth... And I'm just like, oh my god! That would be a lot of fun. I won't lie. I will not lie.
Well, there was like one client who had just gotten broken up with, and he was like, just please send me this humiliation video that I need right now, because it's kind of therapeutic.
So fascinating.
And consensual. It's like if you're consensually being talked down to, then it can be therapeutic, because like you're in control of it. You're asking me to say certain things. Like, yeah,
and that's something that like that's so interesting to me, because I didn't really think that was something that I liked until I started hearing it.
Interesting.
And then I was like, oh no, I really like this.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Totally. It's really truly like a flip, like a switch flips, and I go into this mode, and that must be kind of what it's like in a lot of dom and sub BDSM situations, where it's just like, okay, we're in that mode. Because people are so different. We were talking about this before. Like, people are so different in their quote unquote normal. I say that in quotes, but I mean, like, you know, outside the bedroom lives, you know, your 9 to 5 lives. A lot of people are a lot different, and then the bedroom is like their escape.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So you're helping people with that. So that must feel very good. And then the people that you actually like chat with the camming, like the one-on-one chats, does it get like a really close relationship? Emotionally, or is it
has
more...
in the past?
Yeah,
it can. It depends on the client.
Right.
Most people are very much like, hey, do your thing, jerking off, got off. Okay, thank you for your time, ma'am. We're done here. I will let you get on with your day. And that I love that. That's great. It's like you got what you wanted from it. Generally, it's under the time that they paid for, so it's like almost like tipping in a sense. Like, I'm not gonna waste your time. Like, I don't want to small talk. Whatever. That was worth the money. Cool. I'm out of here.
Right.
And then with some people, it's like they are looking for an intimacy that's almost more of like a girlfriend experience.
Yeah.
In a sense. And like, I don't do as much of that just because it is like a little bit time consuming, just where I have a lot of stuff on the go.
Yeah.
But sometimes people just want someone to ask how their day went, and want someone to like check in and be like, oh, how's this thing going in your life? Are you still doing this? Do you know, how was your time the other night? Blah, 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 blah. Or like want people to bounce off, like if they're dating and they're not sure quite how to navigate that, then sometimes they'll go to a sex worker and be like, can you help me with this?
You mentioned this at coffee about, so you met someone on Tinder or something that turned into a client, and then it turned out that like you guys would do your thing, and then he would like ask you for girl advice.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Definitely more than once. Yeah. So sometimes people will come forth with experiences that they've had and are like, can you almost critique this for me? What did I do wrong in this situation?
Is it
what
sex
could I do
stuff
better the next time,
or more dating?
Generally dating.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, generally dating. And I'm on the Works on a website, and I have a blog post that I just wrote today that I'm going to publish, and that is the basics of she's into me, now what? So what are my steps from here?
Love that. And send me the link.
Yeah, totally.
So I can post it in the, because this will come out next Friday.
Okay.
So not tomorrow, not 2 days from now, but the next Friday. So yeah, that's fantastic. You should do more blogs. Like I think that like you have so much insight into all this stuff, and you gotta put it out to the world. No, you have a lot. It's not just
A
some.
lot, like, for where I'm at. Because,
Yes.
again, like, I don't consider myself, like, a voice for sex workers. I think, like, I can talk about my own experiences, and I've had a lot of experiences to talk about thus
Right.
far, but, like, I'm just excited to be here. Like, I'm excited for, like, 20 years from now when I can own my own studio and be a dom and, like, rent it out to other doms.
Oh my, like truly, you're going to be an entrepreneur.
Here's hoping.
Like you're turning this into something that you can grow.
Yeah, totally.
That's really fucking cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, good for you. That's fantastic. What are some like, and don't be afraid to go dark or harsh with these, but like, what are some lessons that you've learned or things you've learned through doing this? Cause this is like, I mean, you've been doing this about as long as I've been doing the podcast.
Oh, cool.
And I think about it and I'm like, holy shit, the things that I've like learned from doing this thing every week. And, you know, it's part of my daily life. And, that's actually a good question. Do you take any days off? Like where you're like, I'm not dealing with any. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good.
Depending on, cause like I'm in university right now. So depending on my school schedule, last year it was like no sex work Saturdays. This is my day off. This is my
Saturdays
time
are
with my
not
partner.
for sex work.
This is like, yeah, exactly. I wrote that on my calendar.
That should be on like a landscape picture. Saturdays are not for sex work.
Yeah. Also, people are less likely to like ask for sex work or like online sex work on the weekends.
Oh, interesting.
'Cause there's like more stuff on the go.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's true.
It's generally weekdays that people are like,
That's fascinating.
I've got a lazy, you know, post-work Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or, like, I just got paid on Thursday, so.
Hump day. Yeah.
totally.
It works. Is there anything that you've learned about yourself? Like, through this? I mean, you're obviously still so young. Like, I ask these questions and I keep forgetting that you're 23. Like, you're a youngin'. You got, like, you're literally 9 years younger than me. So you got a whole life ahead of you, but a crazy journey nonetheless in 2 to 3 years. So anything that you can, even like tips for, people girls that might be thinking about doing this.
I would say, like, do your research.
Yeah.
Noah Benzie has a YouTube channel, and she's fantastic. She has a bit of a stage voice, but she is very
Stage voice? Like,
very intelligent on the subject of online sex work.
is it like a baby voice?
It's very much like a cam girl voice.
Oh, can we talk about cam girl voice? What does that sound like? Can you do your best cam girl?
Hi, everybody. Do you like, how's your day going? Look how cute I am in this little schoolgirl outfit. Do you want me to spin my wheel so I can drink more? Oh, Kitty Cat 69 just took me 100 tokens. Thank you. My little ninja. Love you.
Oh my god!
My free cams is like a whole fucking garbage pile.
I scrolled through that site one time just because I was like, I'd heard a couple different things about camming. And I had heard that there was like non-nude camming or like girls that just literally talk to people or like develop these kind of relationships with people in the chat. And yeah, I saw the spinning wheel and it's literally just girls kind of dress a little more scantily clad, usually in a bedroom, on a bedroom floor. Would you say? Yeah. We're doing like the webcam girl checklist right now. So you got bedroom floor, check. Spinning wheel, check. And normally it's a physical wheel.
Yeah. It's like a physical wheel. You've
Which
got
is
a schoolgirl skirt. You've got some props. You've got some sex toys hanging out. You might not use them.
Usually they're in a chest or something.
Yeah.
That they like open the chest and they're like, what am I pulling out next? Yeah, what else is there? There's usually fairy lights in the background, like Christmas lights on the wall.
And I mean, you can make hella cash. I know one girl who's even local and she makes $3,000 a paycheck.
Jesus Christ.
A paycheck.
So, and how often does she get the paycheck?
I think like every 2 weeks. Wow. Yeah.
That's more than I get.
Yeah. It's more than most people get.
Shit.
Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah. So like there are some people who are like super devoted to it. That's their thing. I think that's awesome. If you have the energy to talk to people or no one, if you have the energy to talk out loud continuously, you would make an excellent cam girl.
And again, a lot of acting. A lot of acting.
A lot of acting for sure.
You gotta turn, like, I've done live streams where, you know, like I've done podcast, like kind of like this, but live, where viewers from Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook can all view. And even if I I'm talking to you and I don't see a comment, people will be like, you didn't respond to my comment. And like, they get right needy. And I'm just like, geez, like to be a cam girl, you truly have to like, probably not have ADD. You have to be able to focus in on the chat and not get distracted, because I can imagine it can be overwhelming.
I mean, sometimes it's fine if you're, you always want to acknowledge if someone tips you, even if it's like a little amount. But the thing is, with my free cams, is that someone will tip you like 50 tokens. Tokens are worth like, I think 5 cents or something bullshit like that. And they'll be like, show your titties. Fuck you. Fuck that. My titties are worth more than 25 cents, sir.
I do think that that's a mistake probably a lot of girls make going into it. Is they probably give stuff away for not enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, initially when I started, I was like, oh, I made like 500 tokens. No. And like sometimes people will, like there will be almost like moderators that pop in, like guys who are very regular with the site. They like to help. And they'll advise you to do things. They don't always know what they're fucking talking about. And most of the time you're going to be a better business person than they are. So
so many zings tonight. I didn't even tell you about the bell. The bell is when you make a good point.
Nice. I should have been zinging that too.
Oh, I got you, girl. You've been just handing them to me. Can we do a quick breakdown of the sites and how they work? Because I'm fascinated by that.
Absolutely.
So there's the one that you're on is OnlyFans.
I'm on OnlyFans. So OnlyFans, the one thing that I really like, I've got a couple things that I really like about OnlyFans. One, they only take 25% of what you make. So if you have like one transaction, they'll take 25% of that. Whereas places like ManyVids will take 40%.
Jesus.
Which is a lot.
That's a shit ton.
The only thing with OnlyFans is that the only way you can sell video content is either on your main feed, so people pay a subscription fee that's monthly, or you can sell it via DM. You can send a mass DM, but it means that like only your current subscribers will get that DM. Not all of them will check their messages. They might not. So it's less likely that you're going to sell as many videos as you might on ManyVids. That's the one advantage of that.
Okay.
It's also something that doesn't have a homepage too. So I'm just gonna like pop my hair up. Getting real sweaty.
You don't look it at all.
But
it's weird that I feel sweaty, but the camera is just highlight. That's the way that I'm saying it.
Neat.
There you go. We're glowing. We're glowing.
But yeah, so like with ManyVids, they have a homepage. It's like searchable. So if you're searching a kink, you can find your kink on ManyVids.
Oh, interesting.
And
so if you had a video, could you like put tags on the video?
Yeah, they encourage that. And then with OnlyFans, there's no homepage, so you're self-advertising. So if you have a large Instagram following or a large Twitter following, you can make hella fucking cash.
So that's why having these Instagrams is so important.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's like directly you're sourcing your followers. Whereas ManyVids, people are there. You can build a following on ManyVids. Right. But again, it's better to have social media as like a pool to be like, here are my people. My people will support me.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you find Instagram to be exhausting to keep up with?
I fucking hate Instagram.
Well, I mean, it. Because in order to grow it, I mean, you have to be constantly posting and
well, you have to post at the right time of day. You have to engage with people. I've kind of given up on all of this bullshit. But like, mostly because Instagram hates sex workers.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why haven't I got deleted? There was one point a few weeks ago when I like thought I got deleted, but it was just like Instagram being a little bitch and locking me out, which is something that they occasionally do for sometimes days on end to people. And it's a real thing that happens.
Not nice.
Stupid.
Sarah Silverman posted, like picture of her nipple, and so that got taken down. And then she started posting pictures of male nipples.
Yes.
And like they didn't get taken down. She's like, this doesn't make any sense at all.
So it just got continually more confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'd be like, is this male or female? Who knows? Is this male or female? Like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, many vids and OnlyFans.
My Free Cams, camming website. Honestly, I've heard from people that something else. One of the other cam sites. I'm gonna
My Free Cams, trying to think.
My Free Cam. I think it is. Yeah, it's My Free Cams. I feel like is better. One thing with no, My Free Cams is like the one that I was.
What are the other ones? Could we Google search?
Let's Google them. I should know this
because it should come up right away.
Now.
People Google it all the time. Webcam site.
Can she type right now?
The heat is just making me a piece of shit today.
Like canning sites. What am I, my fucking grandmother?
Would it be cam to cam?
To be a cam girl. Okay. Chatterbait. Okay.
Chatterbait
is better because My Free Cams ranks you based on your activity. So if you're on a lot, like every single day, you're going to be higher in the ranks. Chatterbait is like while you're using the site.
Oh, okay.
So I've heard that people have had better experiences. Both are a little transphobic.
Oh, shit.
So that's also problematic.
So more challenging. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. I'm pretty sure that Chatterbait is not as, but I know My Free Cams is.
Interesting.
They're kind of bullshit.
That's the main one that I know is the My Free Cams. And so your videos, quick question about those. Cause I was asking her about her production value earlier, what she used for lighting and stuff. So when you go to make a video, do you make it kind of just based around something that you want to do? Or do you kind of suss out what people want and make them around that?
I kind of like honestly still am just like testing different kinks because there's so much out there. So I'm like, what's going to sell the most? Honestly, the biggest seller, cream pies.
God, that's such a big ding.
Cream pies, facials, anything with cum in it.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Dom videos, unless they're custom, seem to sell less for some fucking reason. I don't know.
Right.
Step your game up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so, like, are most of your videos solo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of them are. I do have that threesome video. We actually were like, this is so hot, we're gonna remake it. So we remade our first night of sex and did an oil play video and also a threesome video with her partner.
It was like a reenactment.
And a bath time video. Yeah. So these are going to be available on my website, which will be chilichick.com if I can get it running in time for this to go up. But know that it will be chilichick.com. Check in maybe a month from now.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
In the meantime, OnlyFans. Or Instagram. I will sell it to you via email.
And people can follow you on the Instagram, right? Her handle will be right here. Please follow. She's very, very beautiful girl. She's always posting. I'm just like, yeah. Could be bi. Could be bi today. I'm like, I just love a beautiful woman who's like strong in herself. And that's what you are, I feel. Blessed. So blessed. Very blessed. Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to wrap it up. We're at 1:25. So I am going to let you get the hell out of this oven. I think I'm just going to quickly check my phone, but I think I asked you most of the questions. Let's see. Oh, actually. Yeah, one more question.
Okay.
Do you plan on doing this long term?
Yes.
So you're in school now. We maybe shouldn't say what you're taking, but you're
yeah, I mean, like, I'm taking PR.
Yeah.
And my intent with that is to work within the realm of sex work, to kind of reshape the way sex work is viewed by the public. That's like overall what I would like to do with this.
Yeah. Love that.
Because I think like so much of what we see now is like sex workers are victims. Sex work is scary. You wouldn't want this to be your daughter. All
They're
of
dirty.
This media
Yeah.
is like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And then we had that fucking Netflix series about that faux dom who was like,
Ooh, what? Do you remember the name? Do you remember the? Now I need to know.
I think it's like she's called Mistress May, but I'm like, oh damn. Let me just look it up because I hate her.
I'm gonna have to watch this.
I hate her so much because like I was like bonding. That's
Bonding.
What it's called. I hate bonding. Any dom will tell you that they hate bonding.
What was problematic about it?
Her shitty shibari, for one. She does not know how to tie anybody at all. She literally was like, that was the sloppiest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. They could have solved that so easily. Her consent, non-existent. Boundaries, non-existent. Just like a little freaking manipulative.
Oh shit.
Yep. I hate her. I hate the show. It made dominatrixes look so bad.
Oh my god.
So bad.
Well, fuck. So don't watch Bonding.
Also, she got her own account on Twitter, which got verified. Many sex workers cannot get verified and or get deleted from Twitter. So that was another slap in the face.
Shit.
Yeah.
God damn.
So, I mean, maybe consult some sex workers the next time you make a show about sex work.
Oh my gosh. Have you watched any of the ones about like what's it called? Rashida Jones made it.
Oh, yeah.
Hot Girls Wanted?
Yeah. I feel like that was very dismal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even like Holly Randall, like she has a podcast as well. And she was talking about how like even that like looked really dismal. She looked back on that and she was like, that makes me look real sad.
Oh, God damn. So it was definitely skewed in a way that it wasn't showing all sides.
Like Rashida Jones is great, but I feel like they intentionally included some more sad stories
to make it a little more buzzworthy, maybe.
Yeah,
Again, projecting that stigma.
Totally. It's like, if you want to help sex workers, ask sex workers about their lives, and not like people who come into the porn industry who are drugged up teenagers, because that's the thing that
who
exists.
Are 17 and just want to
yeah it's like that's shitty. None of us want them to be here. They shouldn't be in the industry.
So true.
Yeah.
And this is exactly why I want to do this episode, because I'd much rather talk to somebody who has experience with this than just like, Google or like, you know what I mean? Like it's so much better. So, but you do want to work in, I guess, advocacy, maybe?
Yeah.
That kind of area?
I would love to work with like organizations that help sex workers. Like
are there
SWAP,
any?
sex workers. There are, yeah. So SWAP is a big one, mostly in the United States, but I believe they are global.
Oh, okay.
Woodhull is another one. I believe Stepping Stone is one that's based in Canada. Yeah.
Interesting.
So there are organizations out there that help sex workers, that are sex worker run.
Right.
And I think that's the only way to make change, is like sex workers helping sex workers.
Which is maybe what you will do in the future.
Maybe. Yeah.
With
like with
whatever
PR,
business.
with like with marketing. Maybe owning my own studio, being a little dom.
Yeah. Be a little dom. You should call it Little Dom Studios.
Little dom.
I love this. I think that I just, like I said, I can't say thank you enough, for coming on to talk. I'd love to have you back sometime where my apartment's not an oven, and we can maybe even dive deeper, because we covered a lot tonight.
Yeah.
Kind of like brushed over a lot of things, and I'm just like, I want to ask you 1,000 more questions, but we can't be here all night, unfortunately. So, we do have to close up the episode, but Chili, thanks so much. Follow her on Instagram. Was it Chili Chick?
Chili Chick _
Perfect. Follow that Instagram. Keep up to date with her, and maybe you'll be back. And for more Dark and Stormies.
Oh, hell yeah.
On a non-sweaty night.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, girl. You get to close the episode with a bell ring.
Ooh.
Make it good. Woo! We got it. We got it. You rock. Thanks so much. Yeah, this was so fun.
It was super fun.
Oh my god, I'm so curious about so much.